The common one we have all day, yes, someone says ça va, comment ça va bien, ça va comme ci, ça va comme ça. Now, if you don't understand all of these things, you hear someone say ça va instead of ça va. Why? Because you say si. But there is a distinct rule with that. My name is Blaise Kuru. I will be your guide tonight. This evening, we want to look at an important aspect of learning French language. This is not just about French, this will help us also in our learning of any other language at all that we want to learn. It's important, and that aspect is the aspect of pronunciation, which is very key. I am a French tutor, and I have been in this business for some years now. So we have taken it as a responsibility to see that we help those who are having difficulty in learning the language. We want to look at key aspects of it, which is pronunciation. This can be challenging, but both with certification you can improve. So we want to look at some of the tips in improving our French. And one thing we need to understand is that we must get it right from the beginning. If we don't get it right from the very beginning, then we'll have issues. Learning from the native speakers is very important. So you pay attention to how they pronounce words and phrases. Take note, you are not just taking the pronunciation, even the intonation as well is very important. So we take note of that. For instance, we say bonjour. So it's not bonjour, it's bonjour. And we always understand that there is also need to listen to different speakers, a variety of speakers. Because if you are used to listening to just one person, it will become a big problem later on, because when others are speaking, you cannot understand. Because if you meet a typical Frenchman, they speak very fast and they don't, there is how they speak. You hear somebody, let's say for instance, bonjour, you hear someone say, bonjour, 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 ça va? So when you hear phrases like that, that is why it is important that we listen to native speakers constantly. Secondly, we also need to practice regularly. Now, practice is key. Practice is very important. If we don't practice, we cannot get the best. Remember that practice makes what? Perfect. So your practice is key. So speak French regularly, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. All my students and all those who are subscribing to my ongoing trainings, I encourage them to ensure that they speak French every day. They must practice something in French, which is key, which is important. Number three, you have to focus on intonation. Your focus is also important. And one of the aspects, French has a distinct melody and rhythm. So practice speaking with the correct intonation. Bonjour, ça va? Oui, très bien, merci. Très bien. All this one. So you understand that. So we focus on that. French has a distinct melody and rhythm. So practice speaking with the correct what? Intonation. And remember, the tune with which you speak could wrongly interpret the message you are passing. So it's important that we note that. And then pay attention to vowel sounds. Always note every language has two categories of the alphabet. There are the consonants and the vowels. These are the two distinct things that makes language unique. Without that, we will not be able to speak and write. So French vowels can be quite different from those in other languages. French vowels can be quite different from those in other languages. For instance, we understand that in English we have 44 sounds, and out of the 44 sounds, they are also divided into two. We have the vowel sounds and the consonant sound. So we need to pay serious attention to that. And then the next one is we use online resources. Online resources. Those of you who are here, who are part of my subscribing team, you will realize that I make it compulsory for you to listen to online resources. We have videos, we have podcasts that help you improve your French pronunciation. Like I always say, always ensure that you are listening to something every day. It could be a video, it could be a song, it could be a podcast, it could be news, but just listen to something, see something in French. It's very important so that you take note of some of them. So now, let's look at some common challenges. Some common challenges we have in French. Number one, we have accent and those critical marks. When we say they are critical, these are every language certain distinct characters for them. And in French, it is also very important. So you pay attention to accents and then there are critical marks, as they can change the pronunciation of words. For instance, we have the Great accent, we have the circumflexion accent, we have the German accent, and then they are just there like that. Then we also have what we call the acute accent. In French, we have l'accent grave, l'accent extrême, we have a accent grave, a accent aigu, then we have CCD, and then we have that. So the circumflexion one is the one that has something on top of it as a tag. So we need to take note. For instance, there is father. Now, if you look at the spelling of there, in letter C we just spell it P-E-R-E. But that's not it. The E is moving from left to right. So we have what we call l'accent grave. We have père, and then we have élève. And then we also have words like moi. Moi is mom. And then the same spelling, but the I this time around has two dots on top of the I. That is what we call I tréma. Le I tréma. That is the I with two dots on top. Now that same spelling of moi with the I with two dots on top changes and becomes what? Moïse. And that is what? Moses. Same thing with A. A accent grave is a preposition, while just A is a verb. So we need to understand that. And then we have words like pat, the A with the cab on top of it. So nous avons comme la pâte, nous avons comme cahier. Now if you look at cahier, C-A-H-I-E-R is cahier. And then the next word that will ask us to look at is the common one we have all day. Yes, someone says ça va, comment ça va? Ça va bien, ça va comme ci, ça va comme ça. So you see ça va. Now, if you don't understand all of these things, you hear someone say kava instead of sava. Why? Because we say C, but there is a distinct rule with that. So we take that. That is about accent. Then we look at the next key item to look at is what we call the vowel sound. The French has a range of vowel sounds that can be difficult for non-native speakers to pronounce. Then we have E. E. For instance, we have that example in live. Now, you need also to understand that most words, last words of the French, last letters of French words are usually silent. They are usually silent. Like the examples I give. Père, you don't say père. Élève, you don't say élève. So you take note of that. And when I say pat, you don't say pâté. So you understand that. So these are pure vowels I'm talking about. Now we have the E as in lit. Lit is spelled L-I-T, and that is bed in French. Then we have V. V is V-I-E, that is life. And then we have E as in été, that is summer. Parler, that is to speak. That's the E that we are having there. Then the next one is the air. The air. Where, remember the first example when I talked about the accents. The accent, so it's key and critical for us. I give example of père. So we have père here again. So père, we have e, that is father, and then we have belle, as in beautiful. Most of us here, I'm very sure we can all spell belle. Belle is spelled B-E-L-L-E. So most times you need to understand some of these things, because if you don't, it'll become a problem. Take note, père, belle. D'accord. Donc nous avançons, we go to the next one, and then we have A. That's a simple A. As in chat, that is cat. As in Paris. Take note again with Paris. I did not say Paris. I said Paris. So it's important that you also realize that, like I told you before, the last words, the last letters are usually silent, most of them. Then we have O, the sound O. Then we have it as in words like mo, mo. Mo is M-O-T, as in word. And then we have it in rose, rose. And then we have another one, the open or. Then we have here, we have words like saw. Then we have This is just some examples I'm giving, so I'll take like two each so that we'll take note of them. So I've taken about 6 of them. We're taking the 7th vowel now. U. Take note, it's just the U. U. But here we have it in words like tu, and then we also have it in vous. I hope we're going. So as I'm saying that, you can also be pronouncing them as well, so that you can master them. We have tu, and then we have vous. And then we have another one here, the 8. The U sound. The U sound. It's in Y, like a Y format, but it's pronounced as in tu. That is tu, you. Then we have it in lean, as in moon, So these are some of the pure vowel sounds that are distinct most of the time. We talked about E, we talked about E, we talked about we talked about A, we talked about O, we talked about U, we talked about U, and then we talked about U, and then we talked about E. I have taken at least two examples A. And then we look at some of them that are a bit easier down. We call them the nasal vowels. The nasal vowel. Nasal vowels are the ones that are produced as if you are talking through your nose. That's just the easiest way to explain that. Then we have the first one. There we have So we have example as in sang, that is as in blood, and then we have it as in temps, as in time. Take note, sang, temps. You got that? You can repeat after me. Sang, temps. Okay, that's cool. Then we go to the next one as in And here we have it as in un. Here we have pain, and then we have fin. Pain, fin. That is the un sound. Pain, fin. Take note, the first one is what? We have sang, we have temps, and then the next one is un. We have pain, and then we have fin. And then the next one is the on. In English, it's very to be like the O sound, but in French, it's a bit different. So on here, we have it as in bon, that is good. And then we also have it as in son, that is sound. And then we have it again as is that is a Siamese voice. Now we have as in lundi, and then we have brun. Take note, lundi is the day of the week. Brun. So you understand, lundi is Monday, and then brun is brown. So taking like 4 nasal vowel sounds, and then let's look at the sound. So if you don't understand me clearly, don't worry. We will definitely drop this material on our group chat so that each and every one of us can go through it. And then if you have your question to ask later on, you can as well drop the questions on the box. So we have words now. We are going to deep sound. Now, I'm not taking time to explain these terms because these are how we already understand them in English. So I'm just trying to explain them to us, how we use them in French. You can as well drop your message in the comment box, and then we will treat them accordingly. So we have moi, as in bois, that is to drink, as in moi, that is to month. Take note, we have moi, as in mood, and then we also have moi, as in non, and as in point. The sound is point. So we have it in point, I-N, but it is not coin, it is corner in French. Coin means corner, C-O-I-N. And then we also have words like loin. Loin simply means far. Loin means what? Far. So you take note with that. I think we're done with vowels now. So let's look at some consonant sounds. Some consonant sounds in French, such as R sounds, can be challenging for non-native speakers. Take note. Then we have, it's a distinct sound. It is very distinct. And like I always tell people, the word R is a prominent letter that is very prominent in French vocabulary. Anywhere the letter R is found, it is always pronounced with force. So we have it as in R. So we have rouge, that is red, rouge, as in red. Then we have it as in France, la France, rouge, France, rose, rayon. I hope you are getting that. Orange. Take note, the R sound is very prominent. So anytime you are pronouncing, especially when it is in between, either at the beginning of the word or in the middle of a word, the R is always prominent. So take note, you must give it a prominent place when pronouncing. And then we have the sh, which is as in sha, that is cat, as in sheep. So you take note. Let's say sheep. It's good, it's pretty. CHIC. So you understand that. And then we have it as in the soft J, 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 which is je, je as in I. And then we have it as in Jean, Jean as in people. Jean is spelled G-E-N-S, Jean as in people. So take note with that. You need to understand all this stuff so that once you see a word, it is easier to pronounce because you understand the sound properly. So we take the next one, which is here we don't have it. It's not common in French. The sound, the silent T. So we have the S and the Z can be tricky. So take note. The X and the Z can be very tricky most times. If the S is appearing at the beginning of a word, it takes the place of S. If it is in between, if it is a single S, it takes the place of Z. For instance, we have six as in six. In French, six is pronounced six, but it's the same spelling. And then we have words like zero, zero. So take note. And then we have the ye sound, the ye sound, as in yeux, or you can say ye if you don't want to add the plural, ye. And then we have yahoo. Yahoo is as in a yogurt. Yahoo is yogurt. So you take note. So when we understand certain parametrics, we will realize pronunciation is very easy, especially the consonants and the vowels. Remember that the vowels are divided. We have pure vowels, and then we have the nasal vowels, and then we have the diphthongs. Then now we've just treated the consonant. So, for a wrap, your resource learning apps that you can get to get yourself acquainted. One of the easiest one I always recommend my learners to go through is Duolingo. Duolingo is one of the apps, but there are so many of them. We also have Babbel, but Babbel is good, but most times Babbel requires that you pay. So I always encourage my learners to go to Duolingo. Duolingo also has the premium of it. And then we also have apps like Rosetta Stone can help you improve in your French pronunciation. There are so many apps there. Even Learn French with Alexa in YouTube is one of the. She's also planning an app as well. That one will soon be out soon. And then we have YouTube channels. YouTube channel. There are many YouTube channels dedicated to teaching French. And when you go further, we also look at language exchange website. Now, the language exchange program is not common these days. In my time when I was learning and when I was schooling, there was this thing we used to do, we call pen friends. It was very common some years ago, called pen friends, where we are having social stuff. So we write letters to unknown people and then we just send it there. We just send it there. So it's important. So when we send them, they will get to France or Belgium. But like my own, I got a contact from people from Brussels. So we started communicating. So that helps a lot. When they're writing, they write in French. And I also write in French. So it has something. So we call them exchange, language exchange. But these days we have websites. We have like conversation exchange and then Tandem. Tandem can connect you with with native French speakers who can help you practice your pronunciation very well. Remember, like I said, the KIB Language Resource Center. We have our YouTube channel. We also have a community on WhatsApp, that is La Verte Community for French alone. We have it in other languages as well. So any language you want to learn, once you get in touch with us, we can fix you in any of our platforms. We also have our Telegram platform is there, which is also important. So in fact, we're on social media. We're also on the KIB on Instagram, which is very, very important to us. So you need to follow us along, and then we'll learn more as we go ahead.